सॉरी डियर स्टूडेंट, वाले वीडियो में आपको दिक्कत आ गई होगी। लास्ट में जो है वीडियो कट गया था, वरना मैं पूरा चैप्टर इसी में ख़त्म करने वाली थी, लेकिन नेवर माइंड, आई एम नेक्स्ट वीडियो। तो इसमें देखो धीरे धीरे क्या होता है, कंपनी अपनी आर्मी में रिक्रूटमेंट करना स्टार्ट कर दी थी, विच मीन्स दैट दे स्टार्टेड भर्ती, विच मीन्स दैट वो सैनिकों की भर्ती कर रही थी। तो उसमें उन्होंने पीजेंट्स और जो हमारे मर्चेंट्स होते हैं, पीजेंट यानी कि फार्मर्स, मर्चेंट्स यानी कि बिजनेसमैन, इनको ये भर्ती कर रहे थे और फिर इनको इतनी अच्छी इन्होंने ट्रेनिंग दी। पहले तो ये कैसे करते थे, इन्फेंट्री रेजिमेंट्स चलाते थे, घोड़े में जाएंगे और फिर क्या कहते हैं, वॉर करेंगे। लेकिन अब इनके पास थे मुस्कैट्स एंड मैचलॉक्स, विच मीन्स दैट नाउ दे हैव बंदूक और ये सब चीज़ें, जिससे कि इनका और भी ज़्यादा इन्फेंट्री रेजिमेंट जो होते थे दौड़ने वाले, वो ज़्यादा ही जो था फेमस हो गए थे। अब डियर स्टूडेंट, नेक्स्ट कंक्लूजन यही आता है कि कम से कम 63% ऑफ टेरिटरी एंड 78% ऑफ पॉपुलेशन ऑफ इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट जो था किसके रूल में था, कंपनी के रूल में था 1857 में। तो इससे हमें ये पता चला कि भाई कैसे ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने, एक कंपनी थी जिसने अपने को एकदम रूलर की तरह इंडिया में इस्टेब्लिश कर दिया था। तो दिस वॉज समथिंग एन अमेजिंग चैप्टर डियर स्टूडेंट्स, आई होप दैट यू लाइक इट। नाउ फ्रॉम द नेक्स्ट वीडियो वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट with our question answers, but why to wait, I have question answers with me. Let us start the question answers also. फ्रॉम टेट टू टेरिटरी का यहाँ पे हम लोग ले आए डियर स्टूडेंट आपके क्वेश्चन आंसर्स भी। तो दीवानी किससे मैच करेगा, सिपाही से, राइट टू कलेक्ट लैंड रेवेन्यू, या टीपू सुल्तान, या क्रिमिनल कोड, या लेड एंड एंटी ब्रिटिश मूवमेंट इन खितुर। तो दीवानी आपका लगता है राइट टू लैंड रेवेन्यू, राइट रेवेन्यू। तो अब नेक्स्ट आपका टाइगर ऑफ मैसूर जो कि है टीपू सुल्तान, देन है फौजीदारी अदालत, क्रिमिनल कोड, उसके बाद फिर रानी चीनामा विच इज़ लेड एन एंटी ब्रिटिश मूवमेंट इन खितौर, देन सिपाही विच इज़ सिपॉय। Okay dear student, I think that this we have done. Now next is question number 2, which is in the filling the blanks. British conquest Bengal begin with the battle of, कौन सी बैटल थी ऐसी, बैटल ऑफ प्लासी। देन वी हैव नेक्स्ट विच इज हैदर अली एंड टीपू सुल्तान वर द रूलर्स ऑफ मैसूर। देन डलहौसी इम्प्लीमेंटेड द डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लेक्स। उसके बाद है महाराठा किंगडम्स वर लोकेटेड मेनली इन द डैश पार्ट ऑफ द इंडिया। जो महाराठा किंगडम्स थे वो कहाँ लोकेटेड थे, आपके नॉर्थ वेस्ट पार्ट पे। नेक्स्ट डियर स्टूडेंट क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 विच इज स्टेट ट्रू और फॉल्स, द मुगल एम्पायर बिकेम स्ट्रॉन्गर इन 18th सेंचुरी। तो दिस इज फॉल्स। 18th सेंचुरी में जो मुगल एम्पायर था वो बिल्कुल डिक्लाइंड हो गया था और जो ब्रिटिश का एनवायरनमेंट था वो ज़्यादा आ गया था। उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डियर स्टूडेंट आपका इंग्लिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वॉज ओनली द यूरोपियन कंपनी दैट ट्रेड विद इंडिया। नो, बहुत सारी ऐसी कंपनीज थी जो इंडिया में ट्रेड करने के लिए आई थी, तो हम ये तो नहीं कह सकते कि भाई सिर्फ यही वाली कंट्री थी, ठीक है। तो फॉल्स। नेक्स्ट डियर स्टूडेंट, महाराजा रंजीत सिंह वॉज द रूलर ऑफ पंजाब। येस, दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू। देन वी हैव महाराठा किंगडम्स वर the British did not introduce administrative changes in the territory they conquered. तो ये फॉल्स है डियर स्टूडेंट, बिकॉज ब्रिटिश ने बहुत सारी ऐसी चेंजेस लगाए थे। नेक्स्ट है क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, व्हाट अट्रैक्टेड यूरोपियन ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज टू इंडिया। द यूरोपियन ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज एंटर द इंडिया विद द एम ऑफ अर्निंग अ प्रॉफिट। India provides a wide range of products for them to trade. In other countries, these are the reasons why they enter in India. Why they enter India in for trade. There was a great demand for silk goods in European countries such as cotton and silk. Indian spices like pepper, cloves, cardamom, and cinnamon were also in great demand. Then we have these things or goods could be purchased at low price in India and could be sold at very high prices in other countries. And European trading companies came to India to gain profits. Then we have question number 5, which is what were the areas of conflicts between Nawab of Bengal and the East India Company? The following were the areas of conflict between Bengal Nawabs and East India Company. The company wanted to expand its settlements, and they also wanted to special privilege. The company thought that the duties should be removed, but the Nawabs of Bengal were not ready to give them the much freedom and also refused to give any concession. Nawabs demanded large tributes for the company's right to trade. Misuse of trade concessions, misuse of trade concession, and then we have Fikur Sahir, a Mughal emperor, had granted the British company a firm arm to carry on duty-free trade in Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha in 1770-80. The English trader, however, misused the privilege and evaded the payment of taxes. Then we have next, which is the B. In the first half of 18th century, Nawab of Bengal laid two conditions in which the company had to obey or lose its right to trade in Bengal. The officials of company and engaged in private trade shall pay custom duty or privilege of not paying the duty will be withdrawn altogether. Nawabs also denied that the company had any right to mint coins. The company was stopped from extending its fortification. Next question is how the injunction of Diwani benefited the East India Company. In 1765, Mughal Emperor authorized company as Diwani of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. Diwani give the British right to collect revenues and also allowed to use vast revenue of Bengal. Formerly, it led to the import golds and silvers from the Britain in the large quantities to buy most of the goods in India. At this time, Britain had no goods to sell in India, which could fetch it finances to buy Indian goods. So the Diwani not only helped it to meet the administrative expenses, but also enabled it to buy the Indian goods to be exported to Britain. It also helped them to strengthen their military power. The next is explain the system of subsidiary alliance. The following were the features of the system of subsidiary alliance given by Lord Wellesley, which is according to the alliance, Indian rulers were not allowed to form their own independent armed force. Indian rulers accepting the subsidiary alliance are not allowed to form an alliance with another rulers or nor could they declare a war against Indian rulers. Accepting this system were agreed to the stationing of British contingent force for whose maintenance they would pay a subsidy. He would allow a British resident to stay in his state. He will not employ any European other than the English, and if there was already any, he will dismiss them. In return for acknowledging the British company, army of English was to protect them, but the ruler had to pay for the subsidiary forces. If any ruler failed to make a payment, then the part of territory was taken away as a penalty. Then we have question number 8, which is in what way is the administration of the company different from that of Indian rulers? Okay. Before the British came to the India, Indian territories were divided into kingdoms ruled by different rulers. The company made a proper system of administration by dividing the territory into presidencies. Supreme head of the administration was the Governor General, and then from 1772, each district have to be two courts, which is a criminal court, Faujdari Adalat, and then civil court, Diwani Adalat. Muslim and Hindu Pandits interpret Indian laws for the European district collectors who preside over civil courts, and the criminal courts were still under the Qazi and Mufti, but under the supervision of the collectors. Maulvis and Hindu Pandits interpret the Indian rule laws European district collector who presided over the civil court. The collector was principal figure and his main job was to collect revenue and taxes to maintain the law and other order. Under the Regulating Act of 1773, a new Supreme Court was established. A court of appeal and the Sadar Nizamat Adalat was also set up at Calcutta. Then we have question number 9, which is describe the changes that occurs in the composition of companies' armies. So during the 18th century, the East India Company began recruitment for its own army. The following were the changes that occurred in the composition of company's army. It started recruiting the peasants and trained them as a professional soldiers. The English company, though, recruited the Indian soldiers in the army, but they were never allowed to acquire any higher posts. The company's army was composed of cavalry and infantry regiments. Then the company cavalry dominated the army in the starting, and then infantry regiments became more important when the warfare technology changed during 19th century. The soldiers company was subjected into the European style of training. Then we have this, which is let's do this. I think that dear student you will do. So yes, we have done our chapter, which is straight to territory. So I hope that you like the video and will forgive our mistake. आप सब ये I think you must be thinking this is why ma'am has not explained the any question, because dear student, this all thing I have explained when I was explaining the chapter. Now it is the time of question answers. So in the question answers, it's very necessary for you to understand that. I hope that you like the video and will forgive our mistakes. Thank you so much.